Hey dreamers, we are up and ready to party.
Welcome to How Hard Could It Be, where I do the YouTube thing and then go through some of my challenges in the process. A while ago, I unlocked the last item for Warframe's second season of Nightwave, and I want to give my opinions. I'm going to talk about both seasons and take a moment to talk about the intermission as well. What is Nightwave? Nightwave is a free battle pass system, similar to ones in Dota, Fortnite, PUBG, and COD. For Warframe, what this means is that by doing a series of weekly and daily challenges, as well as handling some mission invaders, you can unlock a series of rewards. These rewards have been both cosmetic and gameplay things, some being previous additions to the game, a lot being new. Nightwave Season 1 ushered in a big change for the game. For one thing, it completely removed the random alert system. Having played in one system for half a decade or so, and having played this one for half a year, I have to say that as a whole, I prefer Nightwave. I know the removal of alerts has been a bit controversial, so here's why I prefer this. It completely takes away the randomness of that system. If you want something in Nightwave, you just get it, either through normal unlocks or through the Nightwave credit system. New helmet comes out? Buy it with credits instead of missing every alert for the helmet because they keep popping up while you're at work, asleep, or otherwise indisposed. Need alertium? Attain? Buy it. Hell, you can stock up on it if you need to. You don't have to wait 6 hours between those alerts just to have to get those credits. Vauban is here too, no longer forcing you to rely on RNGs, you can just pick up his entire blueprint set from an in-game shop. I also think this system is preferable thanks to visibility. You may miss out on an important alert because you didn't have that node unlocked. Here it's just a matter of menu operation, and you can check on all your progress, see what's coming up next, and see what your credit options are. One criticism I do have is that it would be nice to have a dedicated orbiter segment, but maybe that will come with time. How does this system fare for new players versus veterans? I think it benefits both. While new players may not be able to complete all of the challenges, it can show them goals and give them direction for what they should be leaning into. It also has no entry fee. True, some of the challenges do have requirements, admittedly sometimes steep ones. The daily and most of the weekly challenges only require at best a small investment in time. A new player may not get all the way to rank 30, but they'll still get a lot out of it. The early slots in particular will be a big help. Now thanks to the back challenge system, new players may be able to go back and complete higher level content challenges, either on their own or with the help of veterans. Speaking of veterans, what about them? I myself have over 6,000 hours in this game, so I think I can count into that category. For folks like us, it gives us things to do while we wait for newer content to be released. I know I personally enjoy trying to find the optimal path for completing a set of challenges by doubling up as many as possible. I do admit, however, that sometimes it can feel like doing chores, but honestly that's all about one's own mindset. It also breaks the monotony of only doing things like Kuva farming, orb mothers, arbitrations, or eidolons. It can push us towards stuff we don't normally do. I know personally it got me to do some of those K-Drive races a couple weeks back, even though I hadn't even touched them before. Nothing against the K-Drive races, I just haven't gotten around to it. This also gives us a chance to help out other players with these challenges, which can be self-rewarding in and of itself. What about the rewards? Nightwave is nothing without what it comes with. There's a mix of purely cosmetic stuff as well as gameplay stuff here. Let's talk cosmetic first. There's a wide variety of things to gain on the cosmetic side. I will now list them in song. Emblems and sigils and statues and armor, Siondanes, K-Drive scrolls and a Sugatra, ephemera, glyphs and sentinel wings. These are not all of the cosmetic things. A kiddo suit and an orbiter stencil, a weapon skinned and a saluting emote. Lots of new models to take to our graves. I really like these things from the Nightwave. Let's talk some specifics. The little stuff is all kind of neat. Things like glyphs, sigils, etc. Little decorations you can pick up through Nightwave rewards are nice if you're into those things. The stencil from this season is okay, maybe a little tacky, but I wouldn't want it removed. The K-Drive scrolls are cool. I just wish they were a little more visible. The ephemera, armor, and Siondana pieces are some of my favorites though. The wolf set especially sits right at home on Rhino Prime for a Doom Guy setup. And these two new ephemeras are both pretty cool as well. As I understand it, the Eidolon Ephemera will be re-released as some sort of reward somewhere. I'm uncertain how they'll re-release the Spore Ephemera, however. The Infested Two-Handed Nakana skin is okay. It's a little difficult to color, but the general look and aesthetic of the skin as a whole is definitely on point. I think it could have benefited from being its own weapon, but it seems DE is a little wary of making new non-prime melee weapons with the wait for Melee 3.0 increasing month by month. I was really excited for the operator suit. It looked pretty cool, but once I got it I was just a tiny bit disappointed. The modeling looks great, fantastic even, but I always find it a bummer when we have really limited color channels. In this case, almost the entire body is covered by one channel. Some bits on the arms, butt, and back are covered on another, and then it's just edging and shading. You can certainly work with it, but it's just a little out of place alongside any other operator suit set. Really hard to mix and match with it. How about gameplay stuff? First, old stuff that's non-exclusive. I already mentioned slots, but I think it's important to reiterate that we get more free slots. Useful for everyone, veterans and newbies alike. The standard Nightwave rewards also include produce. Potatoes and tomatoes, no cabbages yet, however. We also have juice, lots of juice. On top of all that, they've given us a bunch of Forma, Standard, Aura, and Umbra. Nora even saw fit to throw us some of those rare fancy arcanes, which is nice of her. I don't think I need to get too into why these are all nice to gain. They're basically universally helpful, and I don't think there's a single player who would want to turn any of them down. Then we've got new stuff. A double trio of weapon-specific mods. These are all pretty neato. The best out of all of them is Wild Frenzy. I really enjoy lining up a couple of enemies, blasting a full clip and getting all my ammo back. It's like Connect the Dots, but with a minigun's worth of firepower. Napalm grenades for the Penta is a pretty neat mod, especially when you do things like orient it solely for radiation. Useful in a lot of ways, if not very friendly fire. Bursting Mass is kind of the odd one out for this first trio. I think it's a little clunky due to the short travel distance, and it's not very good for what you'd want it to be good for. The orb just needs to travel further, faster. I do enjoy the new Harpack mod that incentivizes its gimmick, so that's cool. Efficient Beams is a band-aid mod that honestly should just be a base effect on a substandard weapon. Meticulous Aim, well, it really plays to the Volkar's strength. Combining this with Lasting Purity and Argon Scope, you've got a decent headshot abusing machine. The only unfortunate aspect is that with the nature of the game, by the time you line up that headshot, Saren has already pressed 1 and 4, Mesa has already pressed 4, or Wukong and Excalibur have already whoosed their way through. Leonardo DiCaprio...
Incoming transmission, operator.
It's the Wolf of Saturn VI, not the Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, well, he brought a nice challenge to the game, and brought with him his sick-ass yeeting hammer. It's like the Halakar grew up and became something useful. I've honestly been enjoying this by itself, probably the most. While I've cycled it in and out of my melee slot for various reasons, bringing it back up to play with for this little video was a good time. Always fun to chuck it at Ospreys and such. Along with these gameplay bits, the cosmetic bits, you bundle into that the Nightwave credits. This is where they move the alert weapons, heads, Nitane, potatoes, and Vauban to, and I think this is a real win. It could previously be a real pain to get these when your schedule doesn't line up right. Now you just buy them at your whim after earning some of these credits through the awards. We get new skins being added, other options such as getting Kuva, and even the ability to grief your party by summoning the wolf. Alongside all the other rewards and stuff, we have a little lore attached to this. The story of Wolf tearing his way through the origin system was pretty cool, especially the kind of twist at the end. I genuinely enjoyed fighting him and his little buddies when they decided to show up. The current season with Arlo is pretty interesting as well, and while that hasn't been fully developed yet, I'm really looking forward to the next story bits. As for the overall structure, I think it's fine. So long as DE continues to throw intermissions between full seasons as needed, I can't see too much of a reason to complain. The intermissions are a little lower stress, and while still offering important incentives, it's purely for maintenance and it's important for it to be there. The basic structure of Nightwave allows it to be both bite-sized and moderately expansive. I like having the end goal alongside all the intermediary ones. It brings me back to my early days of the game, questing to get parts I needed to build my library of gear, one piece at a time. That might be one of the core reasons why I really like Nightwave, is that it gives me additional goals, one set in writing right before me, as opposed to squishier goals like get some arcanes or get more focus. Even getting most ephemera is a mostly squishy goal requiring a heaping pile of RNG and luck. This really brings me back to my early days in the game, tackling those small goals while being able to see a bigger goal of a higher mastery rank. Or in this case, getting that final reward at the end of the journey. Nothing can please everyone, however. There are some changes I would like made. The previously mentioned Nightwave ship segment would be nice. It would give us a diegetic way to access the system and make it easier to get to without having to click through multiple menus to do so. I also think the new armor being on both shoulders would be cool. I know there are some people who really dig asymmetric design, but I'm not fully in that camp. But that's a larger issue for cosmetics as a whole. I would also like to know how these cosmetics and mods are going to be re-released. Especially the mods, they're pretty important. The hammer is at least still obtainable through random wolf encounters in his beacon. The current Nightwave enemies are pretty lackluster as well. Neurodes and some mods that everybody is basically guaranteed to have dozens of by the time they even hit MR2. That's all they drop. I think there's a big missed opportunity here. Have these developed Nightwave enemies start dropping things from previous Nightwave events. It doesn't have to be stuff like the Wolf Sledge, but maybe the weapon augment mods could be put in here so they don't become an exclusive, unattainable thing for people that come in after the next season is done. Altogether though, I think Nightwave is a net positive. DE seems to be doing their best to provide this content in the best way possible. They lower requirements on the player's end, requiring less time from us for the same rewards. They've given us ways to do old challenges so we don't miss out on all 30 ranks worth of rewards. This system allows greater flexibility for the player's schedule in regards to previously alert-only equipment. On top of that, it gives us new stuff as well. New mods, cosmetics, even a weapon so far. I hope they can maintain this release method because I personally find it pretty engaging. Everything has been pretty high quality, if a little misguided at times. I'm not going to give this some sort of score or anything else like that. Just a request. DE, keep up the good work. Alright, now that the bulk of the video is over, it's time for that challenges discussion of what I went through to do all this. I got all the way through to editing video for version 1.0 of this video when I came to a huge stumbling block. I had recorded all of my footage on the wrong scene in OBS. All of my footage? Blacker than the night sky, totally unusable. On top of that, when I started lining up my recordings, I came to a realization.
We need to take the whole line back to formula. Back to formula?
I started scripting while I was exhausted after a busy Friday, and it didn't improve into Saturday. And it really showed. There was very little detail, very little discussion of what was actually there. Just the preface of, yep, there's stuff here, yep. I really didn't want to scrap the whole thing.
Back to formula.
I did, however. While I've been pushing to keep a mostly weekly schedule, that doesn't mean I'm going to be lazy and release what I believe to be kind of crappy work. I will do my best within the confines of my skill set, but I won't accept a bad script when I know I can do better. Anywho, I expanded on the script, put some more touches into things I wanted to talk about, and I think I made myself proud.
Ain't no stopping someone who knows their worth.
Now, how about a new entry into things I have learned? I've previously gotten the hang of just cropping things and arranging them in frame. What I didn't know how to do was move them into frame like this. This is of course called panning. I'm sure we all know how cameras are able to pan physically, but how about doing it in a digital space? Here's where things get complicated. So of course I'm going to drop and drag in my piece of work I want to overlay or put into frame. Then you start adding keyframes. You need to be careful to start from the first frame so you don't get some weird instant zooms at the start. Then you adjust your start framing. Then you will continue on adding keyframes and adjusting the frame within the keyframe. With this, you can pan, zoom in, zoom out, pan across once more, all that kind of stuff. At least for Sony Vegas, it does all the intermediary stuff automatically. It's a pretty neat little process that I look forward to using more of as I continue to make videos. With all of that out of the way, I don't think there's anything else for me to do. If you've gotten this far, patch Warframe, check Nightwave, complete all those challenges, collect your rewards, and feel that reptile tingle in your back brain.
Nora is all about incentivizing. You know it.